It's 4 points in footballing terms, 4 points from 2 games. And a place in the last 16 confirmed, but England's performances have led to criticism from pretty much everyone outside of the camp. It led to Harry Kane responding to Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer's comments on their podcast, with the England striker saying former England internationals who are now pundits should remember what it's like to wear the shirt before they criticise us. Yes, Harry, but they wouldn't be doing their job, would they? talkSPORT's Faye Carruthers sat down with Southgate yesterday and asked what he made of the criticism from Lineker and Shearer.
I don't listen. I'm not reading anything. I know, and the players know, what needs to be better. Of course, we're in a high-profile team, so there's always going to be opinions, and we live in a modern world where there are so many different outlets for those opinions as well. So I'm never going to, people are absolutely entitled to say what they want to say. I think we've been very honest about our performances. And I've got to keep the team on the right track, because the perspective from that is we are in exactly the same position points-wise as we were in the last Euros. We've scored 1 goal more. We've conceded 1 more. We're in control of the group, but we know we need to play better.
And Ali, I thought he handled that pretty well, in fairness. I don't believe him when he says, I don't read it. He does. Of course he does. And if he doesn't read it, his press people tell him.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. He knows it's his press department's job to keep him informed of what's going on and what people are saying. So he's right. He might not read it, but he'll be 100% aware of what's going on. It's a strange one. I don't have a massive problem with it, Jeff, at all. I would probably think the English lads should just have handled it by saying, look, the boys are entitled to their opinion, blah, blah, blah. They know how difficult it is. I think it's kind of blown up a mountain and a molehill, really, to be honest with you, Jeff. I don't have a big deal with it. I'm thinking, do you know it was probably the language that Gary used more than anything, I thought, Jeff, and it was definitely kind of podcast, boys sitting around the pub language. And maybe that's what's upset maybe Harry Kane, the England lads, a little bit. But I don't think it's any big deal at all, to tell you the truth.
No. And you know what, I know about the language he used, but what he said was what pretty much every England fan was thinking. So,
that was my point. Exactly, Jeff, that's my point. What nobody can argue what he said, because effectively what he said is correct.
Yes.
But it was probably just the tone and maybe the manner a little bit, which, was maybe, maybe that upset the lads just ever so slightly, that maybe the language was a little bit industrial, but what he said and the points that they were making were 100% spot on.
Yeah, had he said England had been rather poor, then we wouldn't have had an issue. Now, reports yesterday are suggesting that Conor Gallagher could start against Slovenia tonight in place of Trent Alexander-Arnold. The boys on the sports bar last night discussed what that could mean for England.
There's a lot about Conor. He is not.
I like him. He's a good player.
He's not as technically gifted as other players.
No.
Right? But what Conor lacks, he makes up in absolute energy, heart, and desire. Right? And I've got to tell you, you can go a long way in football with that. If you've got all of that in abundance and you've got talent, which he clearly has, you can go a long way. If there's one thing I have to say about England, right, which I've watched, is lethargic, slow.
I know, we look tired.
And, Conor. I've seen Conor drag us up into games, right? He ain't the greatest player on Chelsea's books, but I tell you what he has got, mate. He's got a heart the size of a bucket. I would have played a ball-playing midfielder in there. I'd have brought in a Mainu. I'd have brought in a Bellingham in that position. But what he does do, he'll give you legs, mate. You watch.
What do you think about that then? It looks like it might be the only change, Conor Gallagher coming in for Trent Alexander-Arnold. We're taking your calls all morning. Is Conor Gallagher the change that England really need? Would you like to see more change? 03717 223344. Give us a call. You can text us 81089.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.